So our learning target has been special derivatives. The last part of that learning target is what's the derivative of tangent, cotangent, secant, or cosecant? And they're clearly listed there. For practical purposes, jump straight to that. It's 1 over cosine x quantity squared for the derivative of tangent, negative 1 over sine x quantity squared for cotangent. Secant is ultimately tangent x over cosine x, and cosecant is negative 1 over tangent x times sine of x. So a couple examples here. Let y equals tangent of x. What is the value of the derivative at x equals 3 pi over 4? So ultimately, we want to go look at a unit circle. I'm going to copy these. 3 pi over 4 is right there. And in particular, I want to look at what's the cosine of 3 pi over 4. Cosine is the x value, so I'm talking about negative root 2 over 2 is the cosine there. So I need to square that. Negative root 2 squared cancels out the root. Negative times negative cancels out the negative. We got 2. 2 squared is 4. We got 1 over 2 fourths. If we multiply the reciprocal there, we got 1 times 4 over 2, which simplifies to 2. Or if a little more intuitive, 2 fourths simplifies to 1/2. 1/2 fits into 1 2 times. You are also welcome to, it's not super awesome, but you can type that in your calculator, and I believe your calculator will spit out 2 as long as you are in radian mode, because you're dealing with pi and not degrees. Our second problem, cotangent, so I go look it up. It's negative 1 over sine of whatever the value of x happens to be, which is 5 pi over 6. So now I want to go look at sine, which is the y value of 5 pi over 6. And there we go. It's 1/2. So I substitute 1/2 in. 1/2 squared. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 1 divided by 1/4 would be the same as negative 1 times the reciprocal, which is 4 over 1. So we get negative 4. Once again, if you get right here and you want to type that in your calculator, as long as you are in radian mode, you are good to go. Secant is ultimately tangent of whatever value we're looking at, in this case, pi over 3, divided by cosine of whatever value we are looking at. Once again, pi over 3. So tangent is what you get when you do y divided by x. It's this number out here. It's the square root of 3. If you do root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 and simplify it correctly, you get root 3. So that's our tangent there. And then our cosine there is what is the x value. The x value clearly is 1/2. So we now have root 3 divided by 1/2. The opposite of dividing by 1/2 would be multiply by the reciprocal, because 2 times 1, 2 over 1 times 1/2 cancels out. It just leaves 1 there. And in the numerator, our final answer, 2 root 3. Lastly, cosecant is negative 1 divided by tangent of x times sine of x. So I need to look at tangent at pi over 4 and sine of pi over 4. Well, at pi over 4, tangent is 1. If I do root 2 divided by 2 divided by root 2 over 2, it simplifies to 1. And then the cosine or sine, I really can't screw up there because the sines are both identical. But ultimately, I am glancing real briefly at root 2 over 2. Okay, so I've got 1 times root 2 over 2, which simplifies to ultimately I am going to multiply by the reciprocal. Once again, that's a common theme in all of these. I multiply by the reciprocal to get the answer, at least without just typing that in a calculator. And when we do that, we get negative 2 over root 2. To rationalize that, I multiply top and bottom by the root. That cancels out on the bottom. I get 2. On the top, I get negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So I leave a negative out front, and the root 2 would be the only thing left. Once again, you could type that in. You just need to be able to make sure you can match it up with negative root 2. We will talk in class about a bonus if you can do a problem such as one of these with only a unit circle. Once again, unit circles are going to be left available for you in class. Please make sure you pick one up.